You're watching Newsmakers, and I'm Armond Budish. The Greater Cleveland Food Bank is the largest hunger relief organization in Northeast Ohio, serving over 400,000 people across 6 counties. It addresses food insecurity, which affects 1 in 6 people locally, working through over 1,000 partners, including food pantries, hot meal sites, and school programs. My guest today is Jessica Semachko, Director of Advocacy and Public Education for the Greater Cleveland Food Bank. Thanks so much for joining us, Jessica. Appreciate that.
Thanks for having me on today.
And appreciate so much what the Greater Cleveland Food Bank means to Cleveland. So tell us about the food bank.
Absolutely. So as you mentioned, the Greater Cleveland Food Bank serves a 6-county service area. So when we talk about Greater Cleveland, we're talking all the way from Ashtabula, Lake, Geauga County, all the way down to Richland and Ashland counties. As you mentioned, we served 404,000 individuals last year, about 200,000 children and seniors, and wow. About 20% or about 100,000 of those individuals that we served through our partner network were first-time visitors to the food bank. So I always, that number always stands out to me because I think it really speaks to the number of our neighbors who are one emergency or one instance away from needing emergency food assistance.
So if you help all those people, they have food insecurity or they're hungry, I assume.
Well, food insecurity is, not knowing or not having certainty of where your next meal may come from. So, someone could be not food insecure today, but we have neighbors who talk to us about, having a medical incident or having a car emergency. And, that really, and, about 65% of individuals are living paycheck to paycheck. So again, one incident can, push someone into a situation where they don't know where their next meal is, or there is uncertainty about how they're going to put food on the table.
So would you say hunger is a serious problem in Cleveland?
Absolutely. I mean, last year, we have 49% of children in Cleveland live in poverty. We are seeing food prices over the last several years. Since 2019, food prices have increased by 24%. Wow. So, it is difficult in many cases if you are facing economic challenges. If you're a senior living on a fixed income, food insecurity can be a real issue. We have continued to see steady numbers of individuals needing our support since the pandemic. So, over the last 5 years, we have continued to see high need in our community.
And how many of those people do you serve? Do you serve all of them, or most of them, or half of them? Or
so, we serve many individuals who are food insecure. Again, 404,000 over our service area. We served 1 in 3 individuals in Cleveland last year. So, we are working our best to making sure that everyone in our community knows the resources that are available, can be connected to those resources, and letting them know what support is available to them.
Who's eligible to get food from the food bank?
Yeah, so individuals who are 200% of the poverty line are eligible from
How does that translate to
food
money?
bank. So that's about $60,000 for a family of 4. And, at the food bank, we are here to ensure that families in crisis receive the resources they need. So
does the family somebody coming in have to prove that they're at that level?
So we do self-attestation. So individuals come in.
It's the honor system.
They don't have to bring all of their pay stubs and their W-2 forms. When a family comes in, they sign a piece of paper that says that they are eligible for these resources.
Sounds great. And you have both cold food that they can take home and hot food?
So we have, there's a couple different ways that we distribute food. We have different types of partnerships. So we have traditional food distribution. So if you think about your local church pantry or your local community service pantry, those are kind of what people often think about, more traditional food distribution.
Are those partners of the food bank?
Those are partners. So when we talk about our 1,000 partners, those are local neighborhood partners and nonprofits and churches and that are working to serve the community, and we partner with them. They are essential for our ability to be able to meet our neighbors where they are, and they do a tremendous amount of work. Almost many of them are completely volunteer run, and so we always like to make sure that we highlight our 1,000 partners because we couldn't do this work without our volunteers. We had over 16,000 volunteers last year, and 100,000, over 1,000 community partners. So the work that we do at the food bank wouldn't be possible without the community coming together and stepping up to make sure that our neighbors in need have the resources they need. We also partner with our healthcare institutions. So we have pantries at the Cleveland Clinic, so individuals who are identified as food insecure can connect with pantries at their healthcare facility. We work with schools to do backpacks and kids cafes. Summer is coming up, and we have our summer feeding sites where we serve breakfast and lunch
I assume
at different
those are
locations.
even more important than usual because school lunches and breakfasts aren't available when school's out.
It's so important when those meals are so important during for students, and during school breaks, holiday school breaks, spring breaks, and during the summer, those resources that are really supporting families meet their nutritional needs aren't available. So we're excited to partner with libraries and other community partners to be able to provide those resources. So the young people in our community have those healthy, nutritious meals.
Tell our audience what Harvest for Hunger is.
Harvest for Hunger is our largest food campaign of the year. It's one of the largest food drives in the country, and we partner with businesses and schools and our food industry partners. So there are people around our 6-county service area and around the state who are doing food and fun drives. If you go to your grocery store, you may see a little ticket at the counter that says you can donate $1, $5, or $10 to your local food bank. That's part of the Harvest for Hunger campaign. And so,
how significant is the money? What
is
can
a
you do with a dollar?
No, for every dollar that we raise, we're able to provide 2 meals. So,
all right, so I'm going to stop you there for a second. Now, I've heard that said before, and I don't really never understood. I mean, a dollar, I can go to McDonald's and not get anything for a dollar. And how do you provide 2 meals for a dollar? I don't understand.
Well, we have an amazing food resource team who works every day to work with food industry partners to make sure that we are, we buy at scale. So, we are making large scale purchases. And so really working to be able to leverage those large purchases, building relationships. We have lots of relationship with local food producers and farmers that we have developed over the years. And then being strategic about how we purchase food and, really following and really looking at the commodities and the costs and making sure that we are being good stewards of every dollar that we receive from contributions to make sure that that dollar goes as far as it can go for our neighbors.
Where is the food bank located?
Yeah, so our partner distribution hub, which is where we receive donations, where we receive food, and where we distribute that food to all of our partners, is located at 13815 Coit Road in the Collinwood neighborhood.
That's a relatively new facility, right?
That is a new facility. So we opened that just 3 years ago. We were previously at 15500 South Waterloo, but we outgrew that space. And so this space is significantly larger. It allows us to accept more donations, bring in more food. It's expanded our kitchen capacity so we can do more hot meals. We can take in more cold and perishable items than we previously could. But we wanted to make sure that we were addressing the root cause of hunger as well.
Are you still using the old building?
We are. And so we've transformed our old facility into our community resource center, where we have 17 nonprofits that are co-located there with us. We also have our choice market, which is, I always say, if you walk in, it looks like a grocery store. Individuals come in with a cart, they can shop. It looks just like a local grocery store. We have fresh produce, and we have shelf-stable items and protein, and individuals can shop that store. But also while they're there, they can connect with other resources. So we have healthcare, employment, education.
Wow.
We have legal services. Metro has a clinic at the CRC. We really wanted to really look at ending hunger, not just today, but how do we end hunger tomorrow? And that was really looking at how we can address some of the root causes of hunger. And so that is where the CRC model was really born from.
You've got these locations throughout the county, throughout 6 counties actually.
Mm-hmm.
If somebody wants to find where where they can get food, what do they do?
Yeah, so there's 2 ways to do it. One way is to go to clevelandfoodbank.org, and you can check out our food finder there. You can put in your address, and it will let you know all of those 1,000 partners that we were discussing, what partners are close to you, what their hours are, what their days of operation are, so you can identify what food resources are closest to
So
you.
if some of the churches, for example, distribute food, it'll be on that locator?
Absolutely. Every one of our partners is on that food finder, and so you can find all of the locations closest to you, and what their hours are, the day of the week, all of those things. I also encourage people to call our help center line. With our help center, especially if you're in crisis and there are other resources you may need, or there's other things you may be struggling with, our help center can help identify those food resources in your community. They can also help you apply for other public benefits like SNAP or Medicaid. And they can also help connect you to one of the partners that we have on site to help you with some of those those root causes of food insecurity. So I like to think of it as we can help you with food resources, but we can also help you with so much more.
All right, so if somebody needs to find out where to go for food, is there a phone number they can use?
Yes, they can call 216-738-2067. That's our help center line.
Hey, let me repeat that. 216-738-2067.
Correct.
That's if they need food.
That's if they need food. And again, if there's other things that they're struggling with, our help center team can help them identify other resources and help them connect with other resources as well.
Now, if somebody in our viewing audience wants to help make a contribution, either of food or money, is there another number to call?
So I would recommend folks go onto our website at clevelandfoodbank.org. You can learn more about Food Bank. You can also sign up to volunteer if you're interested. As I mentioned, the 16,000 volunteers that help make the Food Bank run. We couldn't do the work we do without them.
That was Cleveland Food Bank, all one no spaces in
No
between.
spaces. ClevelandFoodBank.org.
clevelandfoodbank.org.
You can go there to. You can really do. You can find food resources there. You can sign up to volunteer, and you can also sign up to give a donation.
That's great. Well, the work of the food bank is tremendous. I've known that for some time. I've had an opportunity to work with them for a long time.
But we have
And
a
I'm very
very
impressed.
wonderful community who has always stepped up and supported our work and helped support our neighbors in our community. So we are very lucky that the greater Cleveland community has been so supportive of our work and our mission.
Now, I want to switch gears for you for a minute.
Yes.
Tell us what SNAP is.
Yeah, so SNAP is the largest anti-hunger program in the nation. It provides funding to families who are 135% of the poverty line to be able to receive food benefits that they can use at grocery stores.
So if you're over 135%, but still under 200%, you can access food or from the
Correct.
food bank.
Mm-hmm. So, those, I always say, there is that gap for every meal a food bank provides, which was 54 million meals last year. SNAP provides 9. So when we kind of think about the scope of the SNAP program and how important it is to food insecurity in this country, and in Northeast Ohio, I always like to think of that food banks stand in the gap of food insecurity, but we can't replace a program like SNAP because of that.
SNAP is the former food stamp program,
Correct.
right?
It is formerly known as food stamps, so a lot of people know it as food stamps. They've changed the system now. Now there's a SNAP EBT card that individuals get. But
So you can take that to a grocery store, for example?
You can take that to a grocery store, any SNAP retailer, and you can use those resources to buy food.
So who qualifies for SNAP? Is
So-
it just the income requirement, 135%?
That is the kind of first qualification. There's been some changes to SNAP recently
That's
at the
what I
federal
wanna hear,
level,
right.
and so there are work reporting requirements that are associated with SNAP. So individuals can receive 3 months of SNAP benefits in 3 years without reporting work. So that's kind of what we consider the time limit. So once an individual has hit that 3-month mark, they then have to show that they are working or they have an exemption. Either they are mentally or physically unfit for work, they are pregnant, they are in a work training program.
What if you're like a single mom?
Yeah.
Is that an exemption, or do they have to work?
So if you have, so that is one of the changes in the SNAP program that recently happened. So previously, if you had dependents under the age of 18, you were exempt from the work reporting requirement. The change now is that that only is applicable for individuals whose children, they all have to be 14 or under. So if you have teenagers in the home, if you only have teenagers in the home, then you would be required to report work or report an exemption. But as I say, most individuals are already 77% of households that are receiving SNAP have someone working in the household. Many households are seniors or individuals with disabilities. So many people are already meeting these requirements. So I like to think of it as a reporting requirement. So individuals now need to report those exemptions or that work to their local job and family services.
These are relatively recent changes with the work requirements.
Yes.
And I've been told that, at least I heard first, that with these new requirements coming in, that thousands and thousands of people would lose their SNAP benefits. What's the real story?
Yeah, so, as I mentioned, there are a lot of folks who are already meeting these requirements. So what we've been really focused on at the food bank through our help center and through our partnership with Jobs and Family Services is helping individuals understand what these new requirements are. So for example, previously, if you were over the age of 54, you did not have to report if you had a health condition or if you were working. You were exempt from that work reporting requirement. Now individuals 55 to 64 need to report those that work or those exemptions. Again, parents of older children. Another change in the requirement is that veterans, our homeless neighbors and foster youth now must comply with the work reporting requirement. So we've been really focused on helping our neighbors understand what the changes are, understand the importance of reporting to Jobs and Family Services to ensure that that work or those exemptions are on file with CJS so they can stay connected to their benefits. And so
is there an estimate as to how many people now will be affected by these work requirements?
It looks like
that weren't before.
Right. So it looks like, in terms of individuals who currently have not been identified for an exemption or for work, that about 5,700 individuals currently do not have an exemption or do not have work requirements on file. That doesn't mean that those individuals do not have an exemption or are not working. It's just simply that they have not reported that to CJ, Jobs and Family Services. So that's why we've been so focused at getting that information out.
But there's no work requirements for the food bank food.
No. Absolutely not. So if you meet that 200% of poverty line, then you can come in to any of our partner agencies or to our community resource center to be able to access those food resources.
All right. Under SNAP, with this work requirement, if you don't have an exemption and you've been out looking for work but can't find work, do you lose your food, or is there some exemption for attempting to get a job?
So that's what the 3 months is for. So the timeline for these changes. So at the beginning of February, individuals who were impacted started to receive notices. March is the first month that counts towards that 3-month time limit. And so if individuals this past March, so March 1st, the clock essentially started ticking on that 3 months, and so again, that's why we've been so focused on connecting with individuals. And so, in order for individuals to stay connected to their benefits, as of May, they will need to have that 80 hours of work a month in the month of May, or they will need to have one of those exemptions filed with Jobs and Family Services. If those exemptions are not on file with Jobs and Family Services, or that work is not reported, individuals will start to disconnect from their benefits at the beginning of June. So again,
does the federal government actually track that?
So the SNAP is administered at the county level in Ohio. So SNAP has always been administered by the states, and so that's another change that we're seeing in terms of funding as it relates to the administration of SNAP. So benefits were covered by the federal government, and then those were administered by the state. Ohio is in a unique situation. They're one of 10 states that are county administered. So each county actually administers the program, determines eligibility.
But the county doesn't have discretion as to who
They do not
qualifies.
have discretion. No, they have to follow the federal guidelines and the interpretation of those guidelines by the state. But they do administer the program.
Can you help counsel, or who helps guide people through the SNAP program?
Yeah, so, our help center is able to provide support around some of the paperwork and some of the eligibility requirements. And then we also, at our Community Resource Center, have Job and Family Service caseworkers on site. So individuals who are needing to report some of these changes or having issues, you can report online through the portal. You can call the help center to be able to report these with Jobs and Family Services, but you can also come to the Community Resource Center to make an appointment to meet in person with one of the Job and Family Services caseworkers there as well.
Community help centers, where the old food bank used to be on Waterloo.
15500 South Waterloo.
Okay, and they get to you, they get to that through the clevelandfoodbank.org.
They can certainly do that, but I would also encourage folks, the best way to really connect with those resources around SNAP is to call our help center. Once you call the help center, they can...
What's the phone number for the help center?
The help center, again, let me pull up that number and get it right, is 216-738-2067. And again, individuals can...
That's where they find the location for food.
That's where they find the location for food. That's where they can also... our help center team can help you apply for benefits. They can help you navigate if you have questions about the SNAP program or notifications you've received, and they can help connect you to Jobs and Family Services as well.
The food bank is an integral part of the structures of the county, the city. It's not government.
Correct.
So, who funds the food bank?
So
is it just donations?
So there's a few different mechanisms that bring food into the food bank. A significant portion of that is donations from the community. We also do receive, there are several federal programs that help bring food into the food bank that help bring commodities into the food bank. It's about state and federal programs that help connect. I always like to say it kind of helps connect farmers to food banks to families. And so not only does it help food banks meet the needs of our neighbors, but it also helps through state programs, state and local farmers and producers, and through federal programs, farmers and producers across the country. So those commodity programs help support and bring in healthy, nutritious food into the food bank. And then we also have food rescue. So we work with food industry across our region and help and work with them to do food rescue. And so that also helps bring food into the food bank as well.
Thank you very much for your great information and also your service to the community. I appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Food bank is a great asset for this area, but they need your help. Call them. We have given you the number. Call them and make a contribution. Just remember, just $1 gives they can provide 2 meals with $1, which I still don't understand how that works. I can't go into McDonald's and get a French fries for $1, but they do it. So help them out. It's important for our community. And thank you very much for watching.